There is a quiet kind of pain. The pain of realizing you were only remembered when people needed something from you. And the saddest part? The kindest people usually discover this too late. They keep giving, keep understanding, keep chasing, until one day, they completely lose themselves. This is the story of a young woman named Clara, who lived in a peaceful countryside town, and spent years running after people, until one silent evening beside a river finally taught her the meaning of self-respect. In a peaceful place surrounded by rolling green hills, mornings always began with warm sunlight. A calm river flowed quietly beside the town, reflecting the sky like silver glass. Tall pine trees swayed gently with the wind. Small wooden houses stood peacefully along narrow stone roads. Life there moved slowly. Every morning, the smell of fresh bread drifted from tiny bakeries. Old bicycles rested outside flower shops. Children laughed while running through open fields. And the sound of birds filled the air before sunset. Among the people living there was a young woman named Clara. Everyone knew Clara for her kindness. She smiled easily. She listened carefully. And she always tried to make people feel less alone. If an elderly neighbor needed help carrying groceries, Clara helped immediately. If someone looked sad, she stayed beside them quietly. And no matter how tired she felt, she never wanted anyone else to feel abandoned. But deep inside, Clara carried one silent weakness. She chased people who slowly walked away from her. If someone became distant, she tried harder. If someone ignored her messages, she sent another one. And even when people made her feel unwanted, she still held on to them emotionally. Because somewhere in her heart, Clara believed something many people secretly believe. That love must be earned, even if the other person gives nothing back. Clara worked in a small bookstore near the river bridge. The shop smelled of old pages, coffee, and rain-soaked wood. Every morning, customers entered quietly to buy books and warm tea. Some stayed to talk. Some came only to escape loneliness for a little while. And Clara welcomed everyone warmly. But inside, she sometimes felt strangely invisible. Like standing among people, while quietly feeling forgotten. Her closest friend was a girl named Elena. Elena was bright, confident, and full of energy. Wherever she went, people gathered around her. Clara admired her deeply. Whenever Elena had problems, Clara listened for hours. Whenever Elena felt lonely, Clara stayed beside her. And every single time, Elena smiled and said, "You're honestly the only person who understands me." Those words meant everything to Clara. Because she rarely felt truly important to anyone. One evening after closing the bookstore, Clara walked slowly beside the river carrying leftover breadcrumbs. As she crossed an old wooden bridge, she noticed a tiny white bird sitting quietly near the railing. One of its wings looked slightly injured. The little bird seemed fragile, yet strangely peaceful. Clara slowly sat nearby. "You must feel lonely too," she whispered softly. The bird didn't fly away. She placed a few breadcrumbs beside it and quietly watched the river flow. For some reason, that small moment stayed in her heart. Someone had stayed near her, even if it was only a bird. Over the next few weeks, the tiny bird appeared almost every evening near the bridge. Slowly, feeding it became Clara's favorite part of the day. But during the same time, something painful began happening. Elena slowly became distant. Replies became colder. Plans were cancelled repeatedly. Conversations started feeling forced. Still, Clara kept trying. Because losing people frightened her more than losing herself. One evening during a crowded town festival, Clara finally gathered the courage to ask softly, "Elena, did I do something wrong?" Elena sighed impatiently. "Clara, you become too emotionally attached sometimes." The words were simple, but they landed heavily inside her chest. Then quietly, Elena added, "You don't have to follow people emotionally everywhere." Music still echoed around them. People laughed beneath glowing lights. But inside Clara, everything suddenly became silent. That evening, Clara walked alone toward the river. The sunset painted the sky orange and pink. Cool wind moved softly through the trees. The water flowed gently beneath the old bridge. Usually, that place brought her peace. But today, her heart felt unbearably heavy. She sat quietly beside the riverbank. Then suddenly, she heard a soft chirp. The tiny white bird landed beside her again. Clara smiled weakly through tears. "Why am I always the one chasing people?" she whispered softly. The bird tilted its head quietly as if listening. The river continued flowing peacefully. And for a few moments, the world felt calm again. Then suddenly, Clara heard voices nearby. Two girls from the town were walking along the riverside path. They didn't notice her sitting beneath the trees. "Did you hear what Elena said about Clara?" one whispered. "She says Clara acts desperate, always chasing people emotionally." The girls laughed softly before disappearing down the path. Clara froze. Her chest tightened painfully. So this was the truth. People didn't admire her kindness anymore. Some of them quietly looked down on it. Tears slowly rolled down her face. Not loud tears. The quiet kind. The kind that appear when someone finally becomes honest with themselves. For years, Clara had been abandoning herself, just to stop others from leaving. And suddenly, a new thought appeared inside her heart. The right people should never need to be chased. The next morning, the town looked peaceful beneath fresh sunlight. The river sparkled softly beside the hills. Birds flew across the bright morning sky. And for the first time in years, something inside Clara felt calm. Not happier. Not stronger. Just awake. She stopped chasing people. Stopped sending messages twice. Stopped apologizing for existing. Stopped forcing closeness where there was none. And slowly, her life became lighter. She spent more time reading near the river. Started sketching quietly during evenings. Smiled more naturally. And every evening, the tiny white bird still waited near the old bridge. But unlike before, Clara no longer feared loneliness. Because she finally understood something important. Peace feels better than begging for connection. Months later, Clara unexpectedly met Elena again near the bookstore. For a brief moment, silence stood between them. Then Elena smiled awkwardly. "You disappeared," she said softly. Clara looked at her peacefully. "No," she replied gently. "I just stopped chasing people who were already walking away." There was no anger in her voice. No bitterness. Only calm. And somehow, that calm felt stronger than heartbreak ever could. Maybe this story is not only about Clara. Maybe it is about you too. Maybe you are tired of exhausting yourself for people who only remember your value when they feel lonely. Maybe your kindness has slowly become self-neglect. Maybe you keep shrinking yourself emotionally, hoping someone will finally choose you back. Listen carefully. Being kind is beautiful. But kindness without self-respect becomes silent self-destruction. You do not have to chase people to deserve love. Because the right people, the real people, will never make you feel unwanted for simply existing. Sometimes, the strongest thing a person can do is quietly walk away. Not to hurt anyone, not to prove a point, but to finally stop abandoning themselves. And the moment you stop chasing the wrong people, you finally make space for peace to enter your life.